Good morning. Welcome back to the KR Daily Transmission. Bonjour. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So I'm not really sure exactly. Well, I do have an idea of where we need to go today. Hey. I kind of went back and forth between a couple of ideas. Hi, Madeline. Welcome back to the live. So, I was just having this really great conversation with one of our team angels, and she was sharing how even though she didn't attend this particular event, that she felt how life-changing the event was, that she wished she could have gone to. And that what was interesting for her was that somehow during the event, when I was with our certified Sophia Circle leaders in Bimini, somehow during the course of that event, her life changed. And what does this speak to? It speaks to the truth of our collective consciousness as an international community. It speaks to how connected we are across the heart waves. It speaks to our decision as a collective of souls to transform together, to grow together, to evolve together through this mystery school, through the consciousness of this mystery school that creates live events, live curriculums, the prayer collective, all of these KR daily transmissions, like it's all connected to the hub of Sophia Christ consciousness. It's all coming out of that prayer that we have to activate humanity's sovereign divinity. And so whether you're able to attend live or, like for example, for our event that's coming up this weekend, Love from the Other Side, which is happening on Saturday in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. Whether you're able to be there with us live or not, you're in it with us right now. And so you're probably feeling a lot of feelings that are starting to arise that are connected to our collective growth, our collective evolution, our collective healing. And so as we approach Saturday, I would be so grateful if you would be praying for all of us, that you would keep us in your good thoughts alive during this event. As I'm channeling, as so many individuals are choosing to travel and say yes to this experience, this inaugural event for our community, which is just the beginning of this conversation. And furthermore, that we would continue to pray for our community at large around the world, because, as this weekend approaches, not only are we going to be working with our loved ones on the other side, we're also going to be introducing the very powerful totem of horse medicine for our equine immersive that's happening on Sunday for our certified Sophia Circle leaders. So what I love about the horses following up on this event, surrounding connecting with our loved ones on the other side, is horses are extremely grounding. Their consciousness teaches us that we can endure the healing journey. We can persevere through our individual collective journey, and our individual healing is connected to the collective healing. I think I just messed up my words a little bit, but I hope what I just said makes sense. And when we are approaching topics such as losing loved ones, facing our grief, discovering how vast and eternal the afterlife is, and the powerful journey we go on as souls across space and time to not only evolve our souls, but be a part of the divine plan for the ascension of all beings. Those are some big topics to open your heart to. And yet it's those very topics that we as light workers must explore and become empowered by those conversations, within those conversations, so we can offer the empowerment to others that are terrified of these topics. It's so interesting to me how much has already come up for so many people who are about to attend this event. And I just want everyone to know that if you are feeling unusual energy, if you are feeling a nervousness, first of all, the body doesn't know the difference between nervousness and excitement. Did you know that? That was really helpful for me when I found that out. But second of all, these are all really normal feelings before something this life-changing occurs. And so I just want you to know, like, every part of you is welcome at this upcoming live event, and every part of you is welcome here during this live. And I'm happy to take some questions in the chat about anything that might be coming up for you, like how your individual healing is connected to the collective healing, how your light work or your divine purpose might be connected to a loved one on the other side. Like, I'm here for it. And it's my great pleasure to take these questions when I can in the chat. Corey is writing in. She's one of our team angels. This event has been opening up so many hearts and minds. Thank you for offering this love from the other side. Thanks, Corey. If you have any questions about this event, you can also reach out to my team angels, such as Corey, who's amazing, and Lindsay. Okay, let's see. Madeline is sharing. I have a question. Let's scroll up in the chat. Oh, great question. Madeline is writing in. Hi, Kaia. I have a question. How do you find your way back to love when thoughts feel so overwhelming, heavy, and dark? I know the light within me is so bright and strong, and yet I feel lost. Fair. So the first thing, Madeline, is, I don't know if you have access to the Stargate 1 curriculum, but retraining your mind and your heart to keep pivoting back to that light is, that's what we mentor with the Ascended Masters for, because it really is such a significant daily practice. It's not something that we learn overnight. It's something that we learn over time. And I'm so grateful that that resource is available to you when you are ready to explore it. We also have another curriculum called the Soul Power Journey curriculum, and that will really help you explore some of those darker emotions and what they are attempting to communicate to your awareness. Very often, there are challenging subject matters inside of us that want our attention, and that's where the darker thoughts come from. They come from parts of ourselves that want to come online and be integrated into the wholeness of who we are. But there's other parts of our consciousness that may feel, like you said, overwhelmed or too anxious to know how to welcome those parts of you back into the wholeness of who you are. And so, journaling really helps in the exploration process to discover which part of your consciousness, what part of your heart is feeling those darker feelings. And again, there's nothing wrong with the feelings. Any darker feeling is indicating that there's a deeper conversation to be had between parts of yourself that are negotiating how to become whole. And they're going to continue to feel dark until they are given their full recognition and their full acknowledgement. And I'm going to give you an example, Madeline, of what I'm talking about. So last night, I'm a little bit tired today because I was up working on one of my books last night. And This is not an easy book to write, and given the subject matter. And I've been very intimidated by writing some of these things down that I have to talk about and share with the world. But there's been a part of my consciousness that has been extremely upset with the rest of me for not being courageous enough to write down what this part of me needs to write down and creatively express to the world. For those of you who know my history, you know what I'm talking about. It's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. The whole thing's coming. And last night I realized, you know what? These really challenging feelings are not going to go away. I'm exhausted from everything I did for the business, at the end of the day. Worked out a lot yesterday too at the gym. I was like, I could have chose my pillow, but this part of my consciousness was pretty doom and gloom towards me. And it was really challenging to find a good thought and towards myself. And that was because this part of me was screaming for my awareness. And when there's a part of you that is shouting out for your consciousness to recognize it, it will often use dark thoughts to get your attention because the other thoughts didn't get your attention. So when this part of your consciousness tries, I'll just speak it for myself. When this part of my consciousness is attempting to get my attention and I'm not responding after, it's made its gentle requests for me to go back to the writing room and make sure that I'm writing this book. And, if I let my anxiety about it get in the way, she starts to get louder and meaner to get my attention. So if you're struggling with dark thoughts or in a certain subject matter, be curious. What part of you is having that dark thought? What part of you wants to speak to another part of you? I'm telling you what, I finally gave in and I went in and I started writing, and it wasn't easy. But that part of me started to feel very connected to the rest of me instead of separated, sad, dark, depressed. Part of the journey of the spirit, like becoming spiritually awakened, is understanding that there's so many parts of our consciousness that are acting out separate from the whole because we've separated from those parts of our consciousness. And the journey of truly unconditionally loving our own hearts is honestly the most courageous thing you can ever do, because it's facing parts of yourself that maybe you've been ignoring, not even consciously knowing that you're ignoring for years. And it might be, to protect yourself. There could be all sorts of reasons why this happens, but often if we're genuine, if we know we are light workers, if we know we are filled with divine love, if we're not in confusion about that, then you don't have to also be in confusion that these darker thoughts are somehow like there's something wrong with you, because there isn't. It's simply parts of you that want to be connected to what you know is the light being that you are. But there's parts of our consciousness that can fragment or become disassociated, because being on earth can be extremely traumatic. And we didn't just come into this world with just our trauma from this lifetime. It's like many of us come in from many lifetimes of trauma that we are here to resolve in this lifetime. So this is why it's really important to do as many of the curriculums as you can in the Sophia Code Mystery School, to read the Sophia Code multiple times. Every time you read the key code initiations, it lifts layers of trauma from all 4 levels of your being, and to also resource healers, therapists, guides that can help you, that can support you as you're learning how to have conversations with different parts of your consciousness. I hope this is a helpful answer. It's important to remember when we have darker thoughts to not judge ourselves. If possible, that's not always possible, but if it's possible, to be more curious of what's really going on underneath, who's trying to get your attention behind the scenes of what you are aware of. It's a very curious conversation that we get to have. I'm going to check the chat. This phone just dropped over. I'm going to check the chat for one more. Oh, super helpful. Thank you deeply. You're so welcome. I'm so glad that was helpful. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is Jennifer's writing in and she's saying, thank you, Kaia Ra. I am grieving the death of my husband and your words are helping. Jennifer, I just want to say how sorry I am for the physical loss of your husband. And I can feel how much you cherish your husband's soul and the time that you shared together here in this world. And I just really want to honor that you're honoring the grief. That's something that I think our society doesn't know how to do very well. And I think grief is part of the honoring. It's the honoring of how much you grew in that relationship. It's the honoring of that soul's willingness to create those chapters of life with you. And what's interesting about the grief is it shows us how much capacity we have to love. And it feels as though your heart has an enormous capacity for love and for sharing love in this world. So I want to thank you for expressing your process exactly where you're at here in the chat. Sophia is writing in, I would love if you could speak to the correlation between the ancestral line and the karma of having lived other lifetimes with current family members. Speak to the correlation between the ancestral line and the karma, having lived other lifetimes with, yeah. There are certain souls that really like to volunteer to play a certain karmic role in your soul's development and vice versa. Sometimes it can be extremely positive where you're choosing to incarnate with, other souls that are as enlightened as you are, that are part of your soul pod. But other times you choose to incarnate with the same souls that have been a real thorn in your side across lifetimes. And that's because you and that soul or souls decided to create a karmic evolutionary journey together across lifetimes for you to resolve the specific soul growth lesson. So if it's unworthiness, maybe, sometimes people incarnate with the same parents over and over again so they can experience abuse and unworthiness, so much so that they finally, after multiple lifetimes, learn how to stand up and stand for themselves and to choose something differently. Every soul decides to learn in different ways. Like, it's just like educational systems. Not one educational system is not the same for every student. Everyone has their own unique learning dynamics. And so it's the same too with the soul. Some souls really like to learn through suffering. Other souls really enjoy, suffering is a faster growth path sometimes, many times. It really depends on the circumstances. And, there are certain lifetimes where you choose to incarnate with a lot of souls that you're very in tune with. There's lots of love, and that's a different kind of accelerated growth. You get to experience the accelerated growth of creativity together, harmony, trust, surrender. So very often, if you are a survivor of abuse, you've probably incarnated with those souls that have abused you before. And every time you stand up to them in a new lifetime, you are becoming stronger and stronger and clearer until you might get to a lifetime and you're like, I'm done. I don't need to learn about this anymore. I'm good. I'm ready to learn about love from love. I'm not willing to learn about the love of my heart from being martyred by these individuals anymore. So yeah, that's a little bit about that. I'm going to just check the chat. But it's important to remember before I close this question, you decide on all of the parameters of your life before you ever come into this world. For real. I watched the movie of my life from a higher realm before I walked into this world, and I wept. I couldn't believe what I signed up for. I watched it all. It was devastating, and I still said yes. And so it's important to understand that if you're a really advanced soul and you had experiences where you can't believe what you said yes to before you came here, like, I feel you, I get it. And be brave, be bold, be courageous, and really take a stand for yourself. Because chances are good, if you consciously chose that, you chose it not just to help heal yourself, but the whole world from around that subject matter, around that collective healing. So I hope that's helpful. It was kind of a general question, so I wasn't too sure where to go with it, but I did what I could do. Let's see. This is some cool feedback here in the chat. Oh, you're welcome, everyone. So thanks for spending this time together. I just want to remind everyone that you are loved, you are held, you are on the leading edge of Sophia Christ consciousness. If you are joining us live, in Scottsdale, Arizona, we're so lucky to have you. And if you can't be live with us, please know that you are part of this massive collective growth and healing and awakening around these important subject matters happening this Saturday, October 15th, at Love from the Other Side. And so thanks for all of your prayers and your support. And we'll see you back here tomorrow on Kaia Ra Official. And thank you for liking this video and subscribing to my channel. It shows your loving support of the Sophia Code movement and this free ministerial offering. All my love to you. Have a beautiful day or evening wherever you are in the world. Namaste.